pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And maybe just have the minutes reflect that our chairman was sick under the weather. She asked me to step in, so we have that record. Approval of the January 13th, 2025 minutes as presented. Is there, I'll move to approve. Second? I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. It takes us to our order of business tonight. Request to discontinue a portion of right-of-way, Highway Savacol 5852 North River Bay Road. And if you would like to just give us an overview, you provided an excellent executive summary here in the packet, but why don't you hit the high notes?
That's very good. Good evening, board. That's actually what my opening statement was to update.
And we need for the record, your name and address.
Mike and Kelly Savacol, 5852 North River Bay Road.
Thank you.
Waterford. So yeah, to give you an update for what has transpired between our initial December meeting and appearance, January, and now today. Our original request was to correct the roadway and our property boundaries with the Register of Deeds. And we were looking to obtain the proper permission or variance allows to proceed with our build while the proper procedures to correct the boundaries were determined. At the January meeting, the Planning Commission and Town Board approved a variance to build, but the county has denied that permit because of and until the unrecorded right-of-way issue and property lines are rectified. My wife, Kelly, has worked with Kim Chrisman, the Racine County Register of Deeds, and Brian Jensen, Development Services Superintendent, to properly update the county records as it pertains to our property. As of last week, the county records and website have been updated as far as our property goes. Previously, we did not know, and you as the planning board did not know what the process exactly was to correct property boundaries. We're here tonight to go through and begin this process as explained to us by Racine County, Tina Mayer, Town Clerk, and our legal counsel. We reviewed this process with Tina and Terry Nickley last week once we had clarity and all the boundaries have been updated on our side. So the discontinuation as it is there is because there's an old roadway there, old right-of-way, which is considered an unrecorded highway. And as I noted in there, means a highway that is not recorded. The issues, the actual lines of North River Bay Road and where that intersects with our property have never been properly recorded. Per statute, the unrecorded highway that overlaps our parcel 2 needs to be continued. Discontinued, sorry. Parcel 2 really being our driveway, David, that you get to drive by. And then you have the rest of the summary there of what that statute is. I put some information in there. I've updated more. I'm happy to go through all points, 8210 through 12, what that process would be. We have already and have us tonight, the 6 other landowners along North River Bay Road who've all been consented to it. We have already contacted all of those whose property really abuts, which there is just our 2 neighbors. That's already been done. Part of the other rules that it has to, as far as like contacting the highway, it's not at the highway department, it's not applicable because we're not within the quarter-mile range. We don't have a railroad through it and those other things. So whether it be by your resolution tonight to start that discontinuation or accepting this as our application for the discontinuation process, that's where we are to begin. We would like, if we get approval tonight, we move forward to begin the process of getting the public notices out so that 30-day clock can start. And then we would like to be, again, if we get approval and start the process tonight, we'd like to be on the very first board meeting after the 30 days have been satisfied, so we don't have to continue to incur delays and costs. To our knowledge, as of the start of this process, there's been no cost incurred by the town or the county. We've borne all of that cost. Our understanding was that there was also a discontinuation in 2014 of May. We have the documentation on that. We worked with Tina on that, but it's the identical issue, for our North River Bay Road. It was Lakeshore Drive on the west side, identical situation. This is where they thought they were gonna put the road through, but they actually put it over here. In that situation, the board approved it. Tina was the clerk at that time. She helped with all the, record keeping and processing of those things. And the landowners bore the cost associated with her time and effort. And that is more than acceptable. So.
Thank you, very well presented. Any questions from the commissioners? Well, I think your request is pretty clear, and I just want to thank you for your patience. This is the third time you've been here, and hopefully the last.
Good to see you too.
Please don't take offense.
Oh, I know.
Is there a motion?
I'd make the motion, but how do you want it to read?
Yeah.
With a recommendation to the town board.
Right, well, right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think there's some recommended procedures here, and so I would just make a recommendation as a town board based upon the procedure memorialized here.
Should I make a recommendation to the town board to discontinue a portion of the right of way on the address that they're talking about, 52 North River Bay Road?
Parcel
Yeah.
two.
That sounds good to me. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Do you have the motion? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Yeah. Aye. Thank you.
You bet.
Does anyone have any correspondence or comments from the public? Seeing none, any forthcoming events to report?
Max, would like to highlight a forthcoming event.
Yeah.
Pertaining to the Waterford Cooperative Boundary Plan that has been under development for the last year and a half. We're approaching the final stages of that before it's forwarded to the state of Wisconsin. The final step to that is a public hearing, in which the public is invited to offer their comments on the boundary plan. That public hearing is a joint meeting of both the town and village boards that will be held on February 19th at 6 p.m. at Waterford Union High School in the auditorium.
Okay, thank you. Any other forthcoming events? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. The chairwoman is not here. So, I call the meeting to order, town board, February 10th at 5:30 p.m. Board members will choose a chair.
Who just like Doug Schwartz to chair this evening's meeting?
Second that motion.
Please use your buttons.
All right, well, you have to have.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
First of all, we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, my notes, I had our vote order. Okay, first we have a motion to approve the town board minutes dated January 13th, special meetings 15th, 20th, and 29th as printed.
I move to approve those minutes as printed.
Second that motion. Do we have any discussion on the motion? I would like to have a little discussion. I would like to, keep the 20th of January's, minutes separate and talk about them separately, if that would be okay with the board.
I'm not The 20th aren't even part of the one we're talking about. Which one are you talking about?
The 20th.
The 20th. I want to talk about them separately rather than approving all of them. I'm good with that.
Bless you.
I will amend my motion to approve all of the minutes from the meetings excluding the meeting on the 20th.
Thank you very much. Second,
I'll second that amended motion.
any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. The 20th motion, since the unapproved minutes were different on two different areas, I would like to table it for the time being until we can listen to an audio version of it before we approve them. I'll second that, or make the motion.
That was put on our website yearly, because we are getting phone calls from the, news crews. That was not, I had not listened to anything. I had not looked at my notes, so they were not official minutes, but
Well, they weren't approved, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Do we have an audio that we could listen to before we, or table it till next month and listen to the audio?
I would have, yeah, I mean, it was recorded, so. I
Okay,
think so, yeah.
that's, yeah, I just want. Are there any other discussions on that? All in favor of tabling it until next month, say aye.
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 I'm sorry, did you make the motion?
I made the
Okay.
motion.
And then who seconded it?
Who seconded that motion? I'll second it. Oh, I thought Dale did, okay. Bob, are you voting yes or no? Nope. I'll vote yes, so it's 3-1. Were there any correspondence?
No.
Okay. I don't believe Greg Horwath is here. Do you have anything from him? We're gonna do the claims first. Oh, sorry. Like I said, I didn't have anything written down.
Do you need an agenda?
Yeah, I got mine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I dug it out.
Okay.
Approval to pay claims as presented by the treasurer's report. I'll make a motion to approve. I got Heather's email explaining some of the stuff, so I'm good with approving any claims. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
I would just like to point out that when it comes to the village police contract, that they are a couple of months behind now paying for that contract.
Have we had any correspondence from the village on this?
I have emailed them several times
Okay.
requesting my payment was being held up. The treasurer said she was gonna talk to Don this week,
Okay. Well, they're having their meeting tonight too, so,
but it goes back to September.
okay.
Looks about 115, 110,000.
Would you want to contact them, or I can contact them and,
But we'll see what she comes up with this week.
okay. Otherwise, I can gladly, contact them. I don't know why they haven't either, so.
There's communication happening, let that process happen. I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that condition.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. We have a first and second, without any more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we'll move to department committee reports. You have a report from Greg Horwath at all from?
I do. Yeah, he emailed me today and said, Ralph Malicki is a new county executive. They did the county, held a field ribbon cutting for the new youth development care center. And basically, that's about it. And they went through orientation for their new positions, so that's about it from Greg.
Thank you very much, Tim. Police department report.
Lieutenant Spiegel has initially was at home taking care of a very ill daughter, and now he has caught it himself, so I don't have anything from him this week.
All right, thank you. Do you know where the contract is or anything by chance?
It's still at the county.
Still counting. Thank you. Michigan Fire.
Alright, so January, we ran 24 EMS calls, 6 fire calls. We got called to 5 Mavis fire calls, 3 Mavis ice rescue calls, and 3 Mavis EMS calls. And then in December, we had our pancake breakfast, and we raffled off a ride to school in a fire engine. So there were four kids from Trailside that won that. So I think it was last week before, the kids got to go to school with the fire engine. So they're really excited for that.
Excellent, thank you. I have no report from Waterford Fire and Rescue, Waterford Waterway Management District.
Good evening, Bill McCormick. For my report, I'd like to report that our meeting this month is changing and we're having it on February 27th. At I believe 6 o'clock. And then the other thing to report is Greg Horth has resigned from the WWMD due to personal issues. I know in talking to Greg, he still plans to be very active as a Racine County supervisor. But unfortunately, due to personal issues, he's got an issue with his son having severe sickness, so he's trying to focus on that with him and his wife. On the 27th, we will be voting to replace Greg's position, looking to appoint, as he's been very active with our WWMD on the dam review process and things, and a few other things. So we're excited about that. And at that point in time, it's very likely we will appoint a new chairperson for the organization.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything for the Board of Health?
No.
Okay, then moving on, Parks, Kenny.
Parks, well, I don't have a whole lot for the parks. Sledding has kind of gone downhill. All right, moving on to the roads, okay. Well, that's gonna change this week when we get more snow. I have a few items. Town Line Road will continue with some of the rest of the drainage issues as soon as the frost leaves towards spring. That's all I have for Town Line. The ARPA grant, agriculture, ARIP grant that we have is still out there. Nobody knows anything on what's going on. There's still $100 million to be handed out. Last time they only had 50 million. Yes. And it was 30 some municipalities that were awarded, but nothing yet on that. Definitely unusual year for snow, that's for sure. 10 snow and ice events year to date from last year, and that was 19 from last year. We had a total of 22 for the season. That's tied with year 2006, so it's 20 years ago since we had that many snow and ice events. That's definitely unusual. Vietnam Park Road grant, open house and design is here on Thursday, 4:30 to 6. I have a handout here, I handed out last month. All the people that live on the road were handed out flyers to their door. So hopefully we have a pretty good turnout. The engineers will be here explaining the whole project. It's a lengthy project, so it's one of the biggest ones we've ever done. So looking forward to that. Last but not least, I spoke with Supervisor Kirky, and you hand out that maps on Beach and River. There's a drainage issue there with some of the lots, and the family members there have gotten together and hired a excavating company to take care of the water issue there. That's actually a gift. That water issue there has been going on for 20-some years. Because it's basically an unbuildable lot. Those lots sitting in a fold, there's no place for the water. So they took it upon themselves to do that. The only thing they asked for us to do is just buy the pipe, and they're gonna put it in, and we're gonna help them install it. You're only talking about a 3-day project there with excavating and ditch work. They'll be in and out. And we're gonna work with them on that. Regarding the culvert price, depends on how far we gotta go to daylight the culvert going west. It could be anywhere from 80 feet to 120 feet culvert, which is still only gonna take about a day or two. That's actually a
gift for us. Then we'll have four buildable lots, as you can see on the map. Remark the X is there. Contractor's lining up his house first of the spring. He wants to get going on that. I told him to speak with the board tonight on their behalf. So I know I spoke with Dale. This goes on 60 years ago. What happened was years ago, those lots were broken off without a CSM. So it was never a drainage plan, and those last lots were left with no drainage plan. There's an old abandoned culvert under Furlong Road right now. We don't know how deep it is, but it's there. That's gonna get you.
Okay, that's
Solve
further,
that water issue there.
that's further north between these lots?
What's that?
It's further north between these lots?
No, it's that culvert is right at,
Or where you show the new one going?
it's right on goes parallel with the beach
Yeah,
at under Furlong.
yeah.
Yep.
So has our town engineer reviewed this?
Yep, I spoke with him today. He's well aware of this whole project. It's been going on for years and years. As soon as I mentioned to him that it's back in the news again, he knows all about it. I told him we'd have to talk to him, we'd have to get his waiver for that.
Okay, so he's working on that.
He says, just let me know.
Okay.
Let him know in the next day or so. Questions?
Is that gonna require a land disturbance?
Yeah. Could be. Then probably don't feel the water.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably will require one. Anything else, Kenny?
No, that is it.
Yeah, well, I'll make a motion to approve this 4-lot drainage plan subject to the engineer's review and approval.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Town Planning Commission recommendations?
There's only one thing on the planning commission, request to discontinue a portion of the right of way highway, Salvo Cole 5852 North River Bay Road.
Do we need a motion on that?
I don't have the notes at the meeting, I think I had a couple minutes into it. Attorney Dubus, they're right here, so,
Yeah, they're right here, and then I got a comment to make when they're done.
okay, wanna come on?
State your name and address again, please.
Mike and Kelly Salvables, 5852 North River Bay Road. I can recap where we're at in the process if you wish.
Please, yes, please.
So, we initially went before the planning board at the December meeting. Did more research, came before the planning board again in January, where they gave you their recommendation to provide a variance for us to be able to build, to correct the roadway. And since that time, the county board denied our permit because of and until the unrecorded right-of-way issue and our property line is rectified. My wife Kelly has worked with Kim Crispin, the Racine County Register of Deeds, and Brian Jensen, Development Services Superintendent, to properly update the county records as it pertains to our property. As of last week, the county records website have been updated. Previously, we did not know, and the town board did not know what the process was to correct the property boundaries. We're here tonight to go through and begin the process as explained to us by Racine County, Tina Mayer, town clerk, and our legal counsel. We reviewed the process with Tina and Terry Nicolay, town chair. The information that I provided to you in here lists the Wisconsin state statute and the process for you to propose a resolution by the board to discontinue that property. That property is more commonly referred to as our driveway that we own as parcel 2. Back in 2014, the town had to go through this same process directly across from us on the other side of the lake, or Lake Shore Drive, where it was originally platted out to build the road, and then it was developed and the road was put in a different place. That's exactly the same situation that we are in here. It's just that it's never been, the system and the maps and everything have never been updated properly. So there's this overlap in the system saying that parcel 2 is where North River Bay Road exists, which it doesn't. So by doing this discontinuation process, it clears all that up. Our property will be now where we'll be able to build the proper distance from the actual road. What I submitted to you was, is Wisconsin statute 8210, which walks through the process. We've already gotten the signatures of the 6 other residents in the area. We've already gotten, no complaints from them. In 2014, when the town went through this process, initiated it, Tina worked with the landowners that were affected at that point in time, did all the proper general work, and then the landowners were billed for the time and the procedures on that. That is more than acceptable to us, so we can move this process along. I have more detail if you wish, but I don't want to take up your time if everything is clear.
So the legal description has been done, the scale map has been done.
Yes, you should have copies of that.
I don't think it's in the packet, but,
So yes, we provided the survey. We had that at the last meeting. Parcel 2 is listed on that survey. That was the exact plan to be able to be done.
This is the same one that was in their packet last time.
I was gonna say last month. it was in the-
It's in the planning commission.
You'll look there on the left-hand side where all the descriptions are. Parcel 2 is the exact description, which I included in the file that Tina had. And then on the right side in the map, you'll see parcel 2 is our driveway.
so. Then we're at 8210, paragraph 2, resolution.
Correct, yes.
So
8210-2 resolution, the town board may initiate the process of laying out, altering, or discontinuing a town highway by the introduction of a resolution. In this case, it is the discontinuation, not an alteration or anything else.
so this sounds like something our town attorney needs to write up.
Not to my knowledge, but
Or where's the resolution gonna come from? Attorney Douglas?
Yeah, okay, I looked at this, unfortunately, the county doesn't treat them as they treated their neighbors 2 doors down, that the neighbors were given a variance. Basically the same thing within the last couple of years, as I understand it, exact same thing. And now the county is not giving it to them. If you remember, at the last meeting, touched upon this, I thought they should, I'm not on the board, but I thought they were entitled to a variance, okay, from what they went through, and the county said no. I have no objection from a legal standpoint to them petitioning for a discontinuous roadway. However, I do have an objection if the town prepares any of the paperwork. We can review it. They said they have an attorney. Their attorney can prepare it. I'll review it, but we shouldn't prepare any of it. But again, we're gonna give, I recommend they get what they want, assuming it's legally correct, okay? And there'll be a hearing on it and all that. I just don't recommend we prepare it.
May I ask a question?
No. Or a question.
So you have an attorney that's preparing the resolution, and I assume, sir?
no, that is not correct. We were asking you to make the resolution. If you need us to prepare it, my understanding in our discussions with Tina, when this was done in 2014, the paperwork was prepared by the town, and then the people making the application were billed for that time, and we are comfortable with it.
I see a little
So by
disconnect here, I'm not
by
sure.
precedent, if that's the way it needs to be done, if you're asking us to prepare that, we can. But again, this issue goes back to prior, likely to all of us being in any of the positions we were in, because our records show that this really should have been done in the 1960s. If landowners and people in the town had done it correctly at that point in time, it wouldn't be before you today. As of today, we have borne all the expense. We are the ones who have done the research and had defined this process, okay? And we're bringing it to the board tonight. So If that's something that you need us to do, so we can move forward, fine. I don't know what additional expense there will be. We've done the survey expense, et cetera, so.
I'm just trying to understand the process. I don't recall how this was done years ago, and I'm just wondering if we needed our town attorney to get involved or not, so.
I'm gonna have to review it, so if their attorney prepares it, they won't, first of all, they will not bear the cost of us doing it. And I don't want the town to do it anyhow. But I'll review it. They said they have an attorney, he can prepare it. Who's your attorney?
Tim and Durga?
Oh, well, let him, he can prepare it, we'll review it.
That's perfectly fine.
Sub one says that 6 or more resident freeholds may apply. I have 2 of them standing in front of me. Do you have 4 others?
I have it right here, yes.
Okay, so the way I read this is 1 and 2 are an either or. So we have an application under sub 1. The resolution then is not required because we have the application. And so we move down to step 3, which is notice requirements.
Correct. Either you're gonna make it's an either or. Either you're gonna make the resolution as the town board or we're making the application.
Rather than discussing who's gonna make the resolution, who's gonna draft it and all of that, I'm okay with accepting the fact that we have 6 residents. We have a legal description of the highway to be discontinued, and we have a scale map of the land that would be affected by the application. We have a perfected application here to move on.
I agree.
Wasn't there a problem with the survey 2 doors down?
No.
That has nothing, no bearing on this.
I'm asking a question for you. Was there a problem with the survey of your neighbor 2 doors down?
I don't have a legal answer for you that I'm comfortable
That's
with.
what the county said to you, correct?
No, that is not.
What is
The
it?
county did not, I cannot attest to that.
Well, okay, there's a question about the accuracy of a survey. 2 doors down. All I'm saying is I have no problem with what they're doing. I'm just not gonna say it's correct. That's all I'm trying to look at it. But I want their attorney to do it. He said that's fine. Robert, I don't know if he has to do it by an application or a motion. They're gonna get it done eventually. All I'm saying is let's take the steps and do it correctly.
We met with town attorney prior to the January meeting.
All right,
Did not bring this process to our attention at that point in time. We went out to our attorney. This is the process. You can see that this is the state statute for it. The process is laid out as Mr. Ulander says. We have borne the expense. We know what the process is to be able to go through it. There is nobody who has said anything is wrong with that survey that you have in your hand. It's done by, I believe the correct term is a licensed and bonded and accepted survey from the state. The county has already accepted that survey.
There's no requirement for a survey in the statute. It's a scale map.
Which, our
Your
survey, which,
Survey exceeds that.
Yeah.
requirement, yes.
You are correct.
That survey may be correct. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying I'd like to look at it. That's all. When we're done with it, you can approve this tonight. I don't care. Subject to the town attorney's approval. I don't care. I just want to see it. That's all.
approve it. Would you like to make a motion on this, Bob? Would it just be that they would have to, do a notice?
Yeah, so the next step would be notice requirements upon receipt of an application under sub 1, or the introduction of a resolution under sub 2, the board shall provide notice of the time and place where it will meet to consider the application or resolution. The notice shall contain a legal description of the highway to be discontinued or of the proposed highway to be laid out or altered, and a scale map of the land that would be affected by the application or resolution. Step 4 details, sub 4 details what that notice looks like. So I believe that we have the requirements of sub 1 met, and sub 4 is a shall, not leaving much in the way of wiggle room. So I would make a motion to initiate the process of modifying that right away under sub 1 of 82.10.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote then? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Anything?
Not to the time and place.
Okay.
For the meeting.
Okay.
And then, so,
Next, we move on to old business. First would be vehicle towing protocol in the town of Waterford, and I have no information on this.
So back when Chief Ditchite was here, other towing companies were not being called out, like local towing companies. It was
Okay.
just one. And, over the years, other towing companies have asked why. I think tonight Dale's aware of one that is local and, you know, they're not, there should be some kind of like, what am I looking for, Dale? Rotation.
Regular
yes.
rotation.
I
Yeah,
know Racine County used to have a regular rotation back in the day when I was on
Right.
rescue.
so unless somebody has a preference, I
Right,
mean, obviously if you want Ron's, then it's Ron's, but, you know, instead of just one or the other, I think that the other, towing companies were just looking for some kind of protocol. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Since it doesn't really say it's gonna be an action item, what's the board's preference on this?
I think we just table it right now, and what companies we're talking about.
Well, the Kale Bushel has requested to be back in the protocol, so if we can't vote on it tonight, I'd like to be
It's
an
worded
action item
exactly
next
how
month.
it was back in 2019. I took the exact verbiage from that agenda and it was acted upon in 2019, I think it was. I took the exact verbiage from that agenda.
You can put that on March's agenda.
I can, but what I was saying is that back in 2019, I took the exact wording from that agenda and the board acted on it that night. So that's why I'm like,
So you think we could vote on it then?
yeah. Well, that they did back in 2019. It was supposed to be a rotating back then, but it just never stuck.
So is that still on the books from 2019? That was never changed? So we just need to enforce the one that's already on the books?
Yes,
Let's do that.
all right.
Thank you, I was just gonna ask that. If it's not there, nobody's changed it, then we'll just go back to the way it was.
If people have additional input or modifications to it, I'm all ears. Please
Yeah.
let me know. So like, if we have something that's usable on the books, let's start there.
I'd like the minutes to reflect that we go back to that 2019 verbiage for a rotating protocol for calling for towing.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Dale.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Bob.
Next on our old business, discussion and possible action regarding UTV usage on specific town roads.
Okay.
So I thought that was at the end, I can use that.
Well,
First,
no, you can. It's just I figured if they
Okay.
were part of that particular one.
first up is Bob Vale.
Good evening, Bob Vale, 6915 Burma Road, Waterford. Of course, I think we're all Waterford. I'd like to revisit this again on UTVs. I brought it up 15 years ago. At the time, I got golf carts usage allowed on town roads. The UTV basically is just a four-wheel drive version of the golf cart, a little larger. Now for us older people, some of them are heated with air conditioning.
Yes, yeah.
And we can plow with them. Can't do that with a golf cart. We can take them out on the lake. Can't do that with a golf cart. I'm proposing the UTVs that I talked to the DNR today. Our representative is Jason Roberts. He said that I cannot single it out UTVs alone. They have to be put in with ATVs.
ATVs and UTVs, yes.
Every town around us is doing it already. Rock County, Jefferson, Walworth, and that's on all roads, 35 miles an hour or less. Marked with a UTV or ATV route. No numbered roads are allowed unless they're under 35 miles an hour and approved by the board. We're not asking for any of those. Just the 35-mile-an-hour roads around us. It's just basically, I know it would have to include an ordinance, but it's pretty simple ordinance. Licensed drivers, no alcohol, drugs. Keep a lot of you guys out.
Licensed driver, nothing special, just obey all road rules.
Okay, thank you. That's very good. You said licensed driver, because I believe if they go through the safety course, they can actually drive at 12 years old.
That's what the DNR told me, they go, if they have a safety course 12 to 15 and wear a helmet, they can drive 12 to 15. I'm not asking for that, that's a little crazy to have them on the roads. But, I mean, it's pretty simple, and everybody around us has had it. Even and this, Jason Roberts told me east side of I-94, Kenosha County. Very strange, but they're not allowed in the city, but out in the county. And also just approved was Vernon and McGuanago.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Elaine Thorson.
No, Elaine is for the stop sign.
Yeah,
there's
a couple different.
Can I? Okay, I came in late, can you sign up, can I speak?
Sure. Please state your name and address.
My name is John Funk, 4827 Riverside Road, Waterford, Wisconsin. I read the minutes from a previous meeting. I don't have the date in front of me, but it goes back several years. And there was a lot written in those minutes. I thought they were really well written minutes. Talked about a lot of the reasons why not to do it, and why golf carts are okay. I just want to state that I also have a property I own on 28626 Burma Lane. I had a juvenile driver of a golf cart drive right over the top of my mailbox. And I had to fix that at my expense. I met the parents and we talked about it. But then I also have the property on Riverside Road. And I have my neighbor's got a garage that gives me a limited view as I back out of my driveway. So I have to be careful, I have to be cautious. And multiple times, juvenile drivers of golf carts are blasting down the road. Blasting, I say, because they're going higher than the speed limit. So the argument that UTVs are gonna be more unsafe than golf carts, I don't buy. And I also think that whether it's a golf cart or whether it's a UTV, it should be a licensed driver if they're gonna be on our roads. And I strongly feel that ATV, UTV should be included in this ordinance. I don't see the distinction between them. A good operator knows how to operate either one of them. And if they're licensed and they are, the UTV, the ATV or the golf cart are licensed properly in the town, and I think the town should have a licensing requirement. My son lives in a small town, it's Missouri, but they have to have a flag, they have to have a permit from the town to be able to operate their ATV, UTV, and it works very well. And when it doesn't, it's dealt with. So I strongly encourage the board to include ATVs and UTVs on one ordinance that also includes golf carts, apply the same rules to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I also have a comment I did not.
Please step up to the mic and name and address, please.
My name is Bob Wilson, 28235 Easy Lane, Town of Waterford. I didn't know that this was going to be brought up until a couple hours ago, so I just took a couple of quick notes here. I personally am an avid ATV rider. I also do not think that ATVs and UTVs belong on the majority of the public roads. Couple of reasons being that, you know, like people have said here, the community, the ATV community has a reputation of following the snowmobile community as regards to not following the rules. You know, let's face it, you know, people as a general rule
people think that it's okay because they saw somebody else doing it. I also had a property up in the North Woods of Wisconsin, right on Highway 141. And I noticed these vehicles traveling right down Highway 141 at as fast as they could possibly go. I was a big proponent of getting access into towns for the purpose of being able to refuel the machines and going to the local eating establishment, bar, whatever it is you want to call it, from the trail to the establishment and back, not general ripping around on a Saturday night, you know, doing what the heck ever you please. Yes, these machines have become extremely popular over the last few years, but, you know, along with that comes the negative side. Talking the extremes here, in 2022, there was a total of 21 fatalities, 7 of which were attributed to road routes. Okay. In 2023, there was a total of 32 fatalities in the state of Wisconsin. 12 were because of were on road routes, and 6 more were on public roads. There is a difference. Roads and routes, it's all defined in state law. In 2024, there was a total of 40 fatalities in the state of Wisconsin. 15 were on roads and 12 more were on public roads. Okay, so yes, these machines have changed a lot over the years. And, you know, the comment before where, yes, it is legal in the state of Wisconsin to drive a 1000cc UTV on a public road when you're 12 years old. You do not have to have a driver's license in order to operate an ATV or a UTV in the state of Wisconsin. Yes, many communities put those restrictions in their ordinances. People don't see that. They don't. And, you know, most every ordinance that I'm aware of, there is a restriction of roads that are 35 miles an hour or less. People don't pay attention to that either. I personally think that there are times where people should be allowed to have fun. You know, no doubt about it. I'm not the fun police. But yeah, I also think that there's a time where you gotta protect people from themselves. And, you know, to date, again, I'm an avid rider. I ride on the trails. I don't ride on the roads unless I absolutely have to. But to date, in my community, the people that I deal with, which there's quite a few people that I deal with. I am pretty involved in the sport. And to date, I have never heard anybody say that they want to trailer their machine or ride their machine to the town of Waterford in order to ride on the road. Take it for what it's worth.
Thank you for your input. Board members, what's your preference on this? Oh. Come on down, state your name and address, please.
Ed Olander, 4609 Riverside Road, Waterford. Relative to this ATV situation, I own property up in Adams County in a town called Big Flats. They were the very first to allow ATVs on public roads. I loved it. And over the years, the neighboring municipalities or town, they complain, how come Big Flats gets to ride, etc. So it spread like wildfire. And a lot of places near town dumps, et cetera, they limited the speed limit to 10. I can tell you it's not observed. It's getting so out of hand. I love it. I love ATV and whatever. And the part that really makes me nervous, like Bob stated, young kids, whatever, that's the big problem up there. I subscribe weekly to the local newspaper, and every week there's an accident. It's not all young people, sometimes people that just had a little more libation than they should have had. So I guess, I don't know how I weigh in this. I think Tina remembers I called up, I said, we should be able to drive ATVs years ago. And then she says, oh, well, you can drive your golf cart. All right, got a golf cart. But anyways, I understand the pros and cons of each, but the other part of that, if you're going to allow it, the question I would have up where I'm at, like I said, up in Adams County, DNR is the people that monitor ATVs, et cetera. The sheriffs, the police, they don't have anything to do with it. So, and a lot of the people, and this is rural, you know, I could be up there all week and not see a sheriff patrol or any kind of law enforcement. So you might want to look at that as to who has jurisdiction relative to citing people, et cetera, and whether or not who's going to monitor it. Are we going to have, we're in this police situation, who's going to enforce the area in that? Are we going to have people drive their own neighborhoods to see if they're getting crazy on ATVs? Just like Mr. Funk brought up. I know it's going to get crazy, so something to think about. And also these ATVs, they don't have roll bars. And that always concerns me from a safety aspect. And you know, I've always been up here for safety. So they don't require it, which is even more dangerous. And if you look at our roads, whatever, we got a lot of culverts. Trust me, you get that wheel into that culvert, you're going down. It's a rollover. So for what it's worth.
Thank you. Any other public comment on that? Yes, sir.
Jason Kozinski, 29744 Red Drive. I was the guy that actually brought this to the board many years ago. I don't know how long it was, 5, 7 years ago, 14 years ago. At the time, they asked the board to do an extensive review and bring a whole plan. The plan originally was to get this so we could develop a trail system. I went to the DNR, we got a basis for where we could make actual ATV trails that were gonna be out off of March Road. That was the whole purpose of it. There's a lot of people that have been speaking here that don't have the facts, like one of these gentlemen that said that a 12-year-old kid can drive a UTV, that is not law. I think that if we're taking people speaking and just saying whatever they want to without actually investigating the rules and making a decision on that, that's kind of ridiculous. When I did it, I spent hundreds of hours with talking with people, putting things together and actually bringing real information. So I don't think that we should let somebody that says that everybody's gonna crash their UTV into a culvert and kill themselves. I mean, we're not banning motorcycles. We're not, you know, stopping Corvettes from coming into the town. You know, everybody can break the rules in their car, on a motorcycle, anything. If, you know, we're allowing golf carts, UTVs are far more safe. They got roll cages, they got seatbelts, they got headlights. I see kids driving up and down on golf carts all the time. It's not legal. We don't enforce it. They don't get stopped. That's on us, you know, but we're gonna make a decision over something that, you know, people are bringing scare tactics towards. I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Thank you. Listen, real quick.
I'm too old to be real quick. In those, I meant to mention in those same minutes, years ago, there was a very good synopsis, 12 points, what the town could have done to things like no night travel, requiring a licensed driver, et cetera. I think that's something to be considered. I think that a flag on the vehicle would be a good one to put in there. And also the town should require a permit be granted before they can be driven on the road. and that could be $25, could be $50, could be $100. I'd be willing to pay that, and that would help to defray any costs that the town has in signage or enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. One more.
Adams Michalski, 28463 Jetson Parkway. Just want to let everybody know on the board, I am a reserve officer, so I have been in patrol cars. I have watched everybody here, 4th of July, drinking in public, doing whatever you want to do. And there is not anybody behind me that has not broken the law or gone faster than they were supposed to or done anything else. And I've been on boat patrol. I've watched everybody on the boats. Everybody does the same thing in a recreational setting. So boats, motorcycles, ATVs, anything you want to say, if they're not going to do it there, they're going to get in their car and do it. So you're not stopping people just by with one vehicle of transportation. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Board members?
Well, last time this went to the planning commission first before it came to us. I don't understand why it's coming to us and the planning commission first.
That's a good point. I did see back in whenever that was, it did go to the planning commission. Did you want to make a motion to refer it to the planning commission?
Well, we're discussing,
Any other discussion?
no, I'm not against it, but looking at the 5 pages of notes from last time this came up, it was, I hate to discuss, I think we gotta get more. I think it'd be rash to make a quick decision right now. I like the idea of researching it more and stuff like that and
Mr.
dust off
Chairman,
some of the notes.
this really isn't a planning board function. This is really a town board function.
Okay, well, before I ended up being the chair tonight, my opinion was gonna be to have a table till next month and have a DNR officer come here so we could talk to him. Bob or Dale?
Well, I'm kind of torn, you know, it was in 2017, this came up before us, and in 2023. I hear people complain about the golf carts, that kids are riding around, too many kids hanging off all the way from Michigan to Winter Park Road. These things are noisy, so people are in their subdivision wanting to have a peaceful, quiet afternoon in the summer. And kids decide to ride ATVs for hours on end in subdivision roads, like that could disturb the peace. There are concerns about accidents. Last time, Chief Johnson said ATVs don't belong in residential areas. One of our farmers who owns 1,600 acres of land complained about damage from his crops with people parking illegally and cutting through cornfields, damaging crops. Is this going to be ATV trails with the snowmobile club? Is this going to be only on 35-mile-an-hour roads? I've heard people talking about any road that's not numbered. Well, if you have these things going down Marsh Road or other town roads that are 45 miles an hour, with lots of hills and valleys, it could increase the danger. Would they be able to ride through the Tishian Wildlife Refuge? So I'm kind of torn. I'm not really sure. I can see that people are using them more and more. I know if I drive through, head down Hill Valley Road to East Troy, they've got assigned ATV trails, you know, from 6 AM to 11 PM, something like that, but if we do approve it, I'd like to see that there are a lot of restrictions. And then like somebody said, who can really enforce it? If only the DNR can enforce it, then there's no restrictions.
If it's a town ordinance, police can enforce it.
No, not if it has to be the DNR. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I do have some concerns.
Bob, do you have any points on this?
As a mode of transportation, it seems like one of the more unusual ones to be found on the road, but it is a a reasonable method of conveyance. I hear plenty of concerns. I agree with some of those concerns, but I also, I mean, people ride motorcycles just for fun. They make noise, you know, not going anywhere in particular.
Yeah.
Some will make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I agree with Dale that there should be some restrictions and limitations, and there are many that are already in this very lengthy state law. So just to quash the 12-year-old issue, 12-year-olds are in fact allowed to drive UTVs and ATVs, but not along roadways. They can cross them and that sort of thing, but they're not allowed to drive them on the roadway, as we're discussing here this evening. That's my 2 cents. I'd like to perhaps get together with the club and work on, I'm sorry?
I'd like to get together and work on an ordinance, but in
Yes.
order to do that, we have to move forward. We've been stuck in a kick it down the road thing for 15 years.
No, I would like to see an ordinance that balances the desires of the club to, and the public in general to ride ATVs, UTVs with the peace and quiet that residents would also like to enjoy.
Well, they're all a lot more quieter than a motorcycle in most cases.
Ask a point of order. Can you pass an ordinance tonight and that?
No, we cannot. If you voted to move on, we could put an ordinance together but it has to be moved on before the ordinance was created.
Can I say something?
Please come up.
My name's Elaine Thorstad, 29038 North Lake Drive. And back in 2023, I was involved in getting signatures to not allow UTVs. And if you're gonna talk about it, we need to definitely get the public involved. Maybe it's shifted, I don't know, but I know most of the people I talked to did not want it. And, you know, everybody's here, oh, let's pass it, let's pass it. No, we have to get in front of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody like to, be in favor of forming a committee, sit down with the Snowmobile Club and discuss what we can do with this?
Yes, I nominate you and Bob.
No problem.
We add it to your,
How's Wednesday at 3:30?
Well, actually, we might have time then, because I don't think that other meeting's gonna take that long. But, I will gladly sit with them. I don't think we need a motion on that, though, or do we, to form a committee?
If it's informal, I don't know that.
I didn't think we would.
okay.
All right, get together with us and we can set up a meeting and sit down and talk about it. And start working on an ordinance and that, and possibly have a DNR officer come in and talk to us.
So who from the audience would like to be on the committee?
Well, I would,
I think it's more of an informal discussion,
Yes.
to take the input. Our ordinance requires that a supervisor, make sure I have it right, no ordinance, resolution, or bylaw shall be considered unless it is presented and introduced in writing by a supervisor. So the supervisor has to be the one that introduces it. So the way I see this is an opportunity to start with the club, to get the desired language put together, and then have public comment periods so that we can get this done in a manner that is perhaps unappealing to all parties involved. As a good compromise tends to be. But it, in my opinion, really does need to take into account both perspectives, those who are in favor and those who are against, and weigh it in the interest of the public good.
All right, we'll have to set up a meeting then, see when everybody's available. If you'd like to email us later and tell us what dates you're available, and then we'll try to put something together. Yes.
should you, are you part of the snowmobile club?
I'm not.
Okay, because
we
we could get that on
He
your
is.
agenda or your informal thing for Wednesday, if you thought you would have time.
Think we'll have time? I don't see a lot on the agenda for Wednesday.
I've got time.
Okay, well, if you could get a hold of the Snowmobile Club and have them come in. We're having a police committee meeting at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. We can hold it after that.
My brother's the club president, so I can.
Excellent.
Our next meeting is Wednesday, club meeting is Wednesday.
And
What
Mr.
time is that?
Is it 7?
7:30.
So we can still get together here
At the Lions
before, at
Sure.
3:30 at Wednesday?
Sounds good.
Well, I'll have it for, it starting after your 3 o'clock.
Yes,
A
please.
little bit further. But it's more informal, not a.
Yes.
full-fledged community, so.
Sort of more or less give and take like a listening session.
Okay.
Next item, discussion and possible review of action regarding stop sign, yield sign on North Michigan Road and North Lake Drive.
You all should have extra, petitions that were submitted. I emailed them and then I printed out hard copies for you.
Yes, I have one there.
Thank you.
We have some comments. First, we'll start with, is it Elaine Thorson?
Yeah.
Lane Forstad, 29038 North Lake Drive. I just want to say that I have appreciated the stop sign being there. I've lived on North Lake Drive for 35 years. And there was no subdivision when we moved here. We don't live in the subdivision, we live down more towards the river. But I've just noticed, we've got a lot of traffic coming from North Michigan. And it's, I mean, nobody even hesitates. There's a yield sign, they don't even hesitate. So I've actually appreciated the stop sign and I am noticing people are stopping. It just feels a lot safer. I always felt very leery in that intersection, so just my input.
Thank you very much. Next one is Randy.
Wazinski, 28,000 block of North Lake Drive. This matter was brought to your attention back around November. I living on North Lake Drive, just like Elaine, there's a lot more traffic going on North Lake Drive, like people have been talking about motorcycles, everything like that, golf cart traffic during the summer months on North Michigan Road. I felt it was a partially uncontrolled intersection. Again, if you're going eastbound on North Lake Drive, you have a stop sign there once you get to Michigan Road. There was a yield sign going northbound and I noticed not a lot of people were yielding. If I was at that stop sign and somebody was south of the intersection, they're gonna zoom right through it and continue east. It was an uncontrolled intersection in my opinion. And it specifically stated there, yield to traffic on North Lake Drive. Well, there was a problem with people yielding. You had somebody last month testify that there's been road rage incidents there. I've seen it myself, been a part of it. When the person going northbound thinks that they can just go through after I'm already waiting at a stop sign. I don't think you should go back to the yield sign. We haven't even been in warm summer months yet with high traffic. The parade that they have on Michigan Road, I think it makes that stop sign makes it a much more safer intersection for pedestrians, for the golf carts that do cross through there, for kids. There's no doubt that you have to stop at that intersection when you're making a right turn. The arguments I heard, well, I'm not used to it being there. Well, I'm sorry, if you're operating a motor vehicle on the road, you should start getting used to seeing a stop sign, and stopping for the stop sign, checking both ways, and proceeding through the intersection. That wasn't happening there when there was a yield sign. They're just coming up, I don't know if they're looking left, and they're just coming through the intersection, taking a right. I heard that that's the way it's been for 40 years. Well, there's been a lot more houses built on Michigan Road, much more traffic and everything like that. I think it's been a success on your part that you voted to do that. Maybe a suggestion, if a sign could go up that could say, stop sign up ahead, south of the intersection, warning drivers coming northbound that there is a stop sign. Again, it's been a safer intersection in my opinion. I don't think it should go away. It's been there for 3 months now. We haven't gotten a high traffic volume season yet. And I think it should remain a stay. Thank you.
Thanks for your comment. Next, John Belkey.
John Belkey, 8631 Hellerson Road. I don't live in the immediate vicinity of it, but I drive there just about every day to go to work, come down here to talk to the ladies, etc. And I concur with the lady 100%. The yield signs there, they go right through it. Stop signs there, you tap the brakes. It's much, much safer. That's not my concern. My concern is there was a meeting about this. It was posted on the agenda. It was voted on. It passed unanimously. Why is this being brought up again? Are we gonna do this every time a vote was taken, passed? Now, some people don't like it for whatever reason is, that we do it again? Is this gonna keep going back and forth? And I talked to each and every one of you. Bob, I'm surprised you even called me back. I called you so much. But you all said, safety, it's safety, Tim, right outside the door, safety, safety. So this should have been nipped in the butt, the meeting before this, you know? So let's not start precedent by flip flopping. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ed Olander.
Hold up, John's got his hand up there.
I was gonna take you first, then take him.
Is he talking about the same thing? Stop sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the stop sign.
Oh, you had 7 on here, so I thought that's what it was. Okay, come on up, please.
John Funk, 4827 Riverside Road. I've been here 5 years. This is that was the only intersection I've ever had a near accident. I came up, did a full complete stop. There was a car coming to the yield sign. I had to circle back because I thought maybe they had diamond or triangle signs that were green that said go on them. I'd made a complete stop. The car was over, not even to the entrance to the cruise in. So I proceeded to get into the intersection. The car came zooming, never slowed down, never yielded, never did anything but give me a nice one-fingered wave as I stomped on the brakes to avoid collision. So I think I commend you for putting the stop sign there, and I don't think it should be revisited.
Thank you. Yes, Ed.
I will make a comment. I'll just share the sentiment Mr. Belkey made. And that is when I read it again on the agenda, I'm like, what? Deja vu? How many times do we have to beat something to death? So make up your mind and move on.
Thank you. Board members?
I'm sorry this has been on here so many times, but us supervisors don't do the agenda, so.
I think this time it was because we actually got the petition at that last meeting.
Yes.
Because we didn't have that before the town board.
I'm not looking to change the way I voted, so.
Any comment from any other board members? I believe then it stays as it is, stop sign stays. Could we put a sign up, stop sign ahead, or is there one already?
Yes, we're ready to go with that. We gotta wait just a couple more weeks till the ground, thaws, we get signpost added.
Sounds good.
And the new cross intersection, northbound on North Michigan.
All right, thank you. Next item, board to move the review of the ordinance changes discussed at the October 14th special meeting as it relates to requalification to the March 10th town board meeting. Do we need a motion on that?
Yes.
Your East Coast is coming on 13 on March 10th.
I know, yeah, that's stopping.
I will move to move the review of ordinance changes discussed in October 14th special meeting to March 10th.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Where are we on moving ahead with those?
Very close.
Okay.
Brianna was able to help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, cooperative boundary small group update.
Board.
Tom Rachkowski, 6751 North Michigan Road, member of the Town Planning Commission and also of the small committee who has been working for the last year and a half on the Waterford Cooperative Plan with the village. Here to provide an update since our last update in December and this board's vote at that time to move forward with the plan. Since that time, we have had a number of things that have occurred that have resulted in a few updates to the plan. I want to cover those here. First off was collaborative engagement that we had with residents of the Hickory Hollow subdivision. The earlier version of the plan had a provision in it which had the potential to, at some point within the next 5 years, remove a berm that exists currently on Hickory Hollow Road, separating one segment of the road, the east segment, from the west segment. The residents of Hickory Hollow brought to our attention some concerns with that provision. We reached out and we invited them to meet with our committee, which we did. And we had a very collaborative and productive and cordial discussion exploring their questions and concerns and our rationale for incorporating that provision into the plan. Interestingly enough, both sides or perspectives were focused on the life safety considerations associated with that condition today. The committee had incorporated that provision into the plan for the purpose of improving life safety, including emergency personnel access to the residents in that area, as well as easier access to fire hydrants in the case that they needed to be accessed. The residents of Hickory Hollow felt that removing the berm and opening up that road from an east-west, west-east perspective would result in increased traffic, which would degrade life safety in their opinion. So we had a great conversation about this, looked at all perspectives. They filled this room and we had a really good conversation about it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, our committee listened to them and felt, you know what? If you as residents are accepting of the life safety concerns that we had in incorporating that provision into the plan in the first place, and you accept those, we will listen to you and we will remove that provision, which we did. So the plan has been updated and that provision about potential removal of that Hickory Hollow Road berm is no longer in there. Additionally, we updated the plan based on input from Supervisor Eulander on section 17, which relates to the establishment of a joint strategic planning committee between the town and the village going forward. Those suggestions were involved questions around how would meetings of that committee be called, who can call those meetings, what constitutes a quorum, who would run those meetings, and so forth. Great input. We took that and we added a number of provisions to section 17 to try to address those points. So the plan has been updated. It is out on the town and village websites. The next step in the process as we move forward towards moving the cooperative plan forward to the state of Wisconsin for its review and approval is a public hearing before a joint meeting of the town and village boards for the purpose of taking public comments on the plan. That meeting is scheduled for February 19th at 6 p.m. at Waterford Union High School in the auditorium. And we're hoping that we get lots of folks to come out and express their views to that joint meeting of the boards to share their views on the plan. Important for the public and everyone to understand that the purpose of that meeting on February 19th is for taking public comments. It is not a meeting for continued board discussion or debate on the plan. So we're going to try to hold true to that. There will be a short presentation to those in attendance, summarizing the current terms and conditions in the plan and what the committee feels are its benefits to Waterford overall, at which point then the meeting will be opened up for public comments. So that's my update. That's where we sit. And looking forward to the 19th and hearing what we're gonna hear.
Well, thank you very much, Tom.
Supervisor Schwartz, can I just ask one more quick question?
Yes, you may.
I had somebody to ask, because it's gonna be live streamed.
It is.
Will people who are attending live stream be able to ask questions, or is it just those in attendance?
People who are attending the live stream can ask questions, but they're invited to ask questions by submitting an email
Okay.
to our boundary group or the boundary plan email address.
Okay,
The live chat for that meeting is not gonna be open. It'll be for listening only.
okay,
But we will make the point, Tina, that those who are on the live stream can and should submit their comments via email.
okay,
It's also important to point out that that comment period will be open for 20 days, beginning on February 19th. Those comments from the public will be formally recorded with a stenographer or from that email address, and those comments will be submitted to the state as part of our submittal of the plan when that happens. Any other thoughts, questions?
No, thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, before moving on from old business, obviously I didn't know that I'd be chairing the meeting tonight. Originally, I was gonna, make a motion to suspend the rules. So we could, discuss what to happen, on January 20th. I will still make that motion, but I would need a second before any discussion.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion, please.
what's the motion?
To ignore the agenda.
Motion per Robert's rules is to suspend the rules. It's also 1.06 of our town ordinances. I believe. Any other discussion? And I call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Aye, opposed?
The motion is to discuss something that's not on the agenda, is that correct?
You are correct, sir. That's why there's a suspension of the rules.
You're suspending state law?
No, I'm suspending the Robert's rules, which we go by.
Well, we also follow state law, which supersedes any Roberts rule, so I'm voting no.
Okay, thank you for your vote.
I believe Attorney Dubus has a.
Well,
Yes, sir.
you know, I've never seen this done before, just so you know that.
Yes, sir, I know that.
This has never been done in 50 years. Sir, where-
Yes, I am.
Are you gonna continue to go ahead with this?
Yes, I am. They can always come back, but that's what I'm going by, reading Robert's rules and that, and our town ordinances.
So you're gonna go ahead with this irrespective, right?
It's in town ordinance. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your input.
Could you explain your motion? No, I just want, the motion is to revisit.
The motion is to suspend the rules for right now.
That's to suspend the rules.
Got it?
Yep, that's, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, my next motion would be, I would like to make a motion that the motion to the contract with Sheen County Sheriff be ruled out of order per Robert's rules and our town ordinances. Per town ordinance, I believe it's 2.06. It stated that we have to have a police department, and I would have no problem with that being put in, but they didn't ask for it to be amended or suspended before they voted for that. So for that reason, and per Robert's rules, the chairman should have ruled it out of order at that time. So that's my motion.
One comment. I think your first point is recognized, okay, that you're suspending the rules and that. The ordinance though isn't a valid insight. That's an ordinance that was created because we were gonna have a police department. In other words, it's not a precondition that, in other words, you don't have to repeal that ordinance before you do away with a police department. In other words, that ordinance was created when we decided to have our local police back in the 70s. So what I'm trying to say, I recognize your first point, you're suspending the rules.
Yes.
I don't recognize your second point.
Okay, well, wouldn't they have to do away with it before, they would vote?
I don't think so, no. I don't.
Well, before any discussion, it would have to be a second.
I'll second.
Now we'll open it up to discussion. I understand what you said, Mike.
It's okay.
From what I've read, from what I've been told, we can do it, so I will leave it up to the board for, discussion on it.
I would just comment again that would be a violation of Wisconsin's open meetings law. It was not on the agenda, it's not noticed that way.
Well, then, it would be a motion that when you guys passed that motion, nowhere did it state that we were gonna form a new position or eliminate a position. So then that motion would have been out of order then too, right?
I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty of what the courts have said regarding the required details of an agenda item, but no, that is not correct.
Any other discussion on this? Then I'll call for the vote. All in favor, we'll vote by roll call, please.
What are you voting for?
That the motion on January 20th to go with the county sheriff department was, I'll read it all again, how's that sound?
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion that the motion to contract with the Racine County Sheriff be ruled out of order per Robert's rules and our town ordinance. That the was violating our town ordinance and the chair should never let it go to a vote.
Thank
You're welcome. Now we'll go by roll call. Bob,
As a violation of the open meetings law, absolutely not.
thank you. Dale?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll go with aye. So the motion passes, obviously, we'll have to seek a legal interpretation of that also though. New business, discussion of possible action regarding AV 105 full service retail sales application, Regatta Waterford Stillhouse.
I'll make a motion to approve. We did this one from last year too.
I'll second.
Did you get the second, Tina?
Yes, I did, thank you.
Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Also, there was supposed to be a discussion by the chair on walking forms and oath of office. I did not get anything on that. Do we want to discuss that at all, or since she's not here?
Yeah, I'm not sure what she was gonna say on that.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Public comments.
Sorry.
We used them all, but I just wanted to see if there was any others, any forthcoming events.
Another reminder, Thursday from 4:30 to 6, there's a meeting on the Boyden Park resurfacing project. If anybody lives in that area would like to attend, please come to this meeting room. That our town engineer will be here to explain it.
Yes, Mr. Overner.
I have a comment, if I'm allowed.
Come on up. We're just gonna get ready, but come on, public comments are open yet.
I'd like to discuss this police issue if at all possible.
Well, it is public comments. You get 3 minutes.
All right, Ed Olander, 4609 Riverside Road, Waterford Woods. So, I'm gonna relate to, Mr. Garkey's statement of the last meeting where he said this is a sad day for the town of Waterford. I think that was an understatement. I was out of the country during the second and third last meeting, and that was where there was discussion about appointment for a committee. And if I read that right, there was some debate whether or not Ms. Supervisor Ulander should be on there because we know how he leaned. And he argued that point, and in the article I read, it stated that Mr. Ulander's argument was maybe I need to take a step back and look at both sides, if I'm not mistaken. Now, with that said, and then subsequently, there was this vote made for this to go with the RCSO. So the part that confuses me is when did your looking at the other side take place between when you argued to be on the committee versus taking that vote? You don't have to answer that. It seems very, very, a little underhanded there. I would think that anybody making any type of decision, I've always done this, 3 sides to every story, and then make a decision. I don't see that. I see a lot of people come up here and they're leaning one way or the other. Now, obviously you guys know that I'm running for town supervisor and I've talked to a lot of people. And in my talks, everybody wants local WPD. And the other thing that what came up was relative to Mr. Ulander looking at both sides, I looked at that and I said, well, let's see, we had packed rooms here a couple times. Everybody wanted local police. We had a trustee from the village who went knocking door to door, and I think the vote was something like 54-0 for local police. And then the other questions that keep getting asked by me, but we had a referendum a couple of years ago, $150,000 for another police officer with Waterford. Everybody wants to know what happened there or what happened to the $150,000. I think it's a valid question. Are we using this on lawyers' fees or what? Now, I've also got asked, what would it take for me to look at possibly our CSO? And I'm always open-minded. And I said, I would look at something like that, evaluate both sides, which I did already. And by the way, I've had a lot of discussions with Sheriff Smaling, a couple of them, sidebars I call them, and also DA Hansen. And they approached me too and say, what can we do? Say whatever to lean, for you to lean with Racine County Sheriff's Office. And all my years of experience and all the municipalities that I lived in, I like the local law enforcement.
Okay.
So with that said, would I be open to looking at our CSO? Yes, under the current conditions or what they proposed? Absolutely not.
All right, thank you, but your time's up.
Thank you.
Forthcoming events, we also are having the police committee meeting at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Right now, Bob will be there, I will be there, and Mr. Thompson will be there. One member cannot attend because he is out of the area on training. Yes, sir.
Can I make a public comment?
Oh, real quick.
It has to do with the agenda item that was titled Walking Quorums. My name's John Funk, 4827 Riverside Road.
It wasn't the agenda item to act on.
It was just, she was gonna present something on, it, so we don't even know, so.
You can't open it to public comment then?
It's not a, no, it
It's
wasn't
not an
discussed by the
agenda
board.
item, no.
meeting. The board didn't discuss it, so no. If they discussed it, yes.
Yes, sir.
Doesn't
That's it.
That fall under old business?
I wanna ask a question about this, police stuff now.
Yes, sir.
Did we just overturn what was voted on?
I believe so, but we still have to check with legal on that to see if it was legal.
Okay. Didn't I bring up going back and forth earlier in the?
Unfortunately, yes, you did.
Didn't you agree with me? I mean, didn't you shake your heads up and down? Didn't Ed say, I agree with Mr. Belkey, swinging a deck, didn't?
I agree, but I already had it on my agenda to do from what I was told from other people
Okay.
also.
But I talked to you and Dale. Remember Dale? Don't walk it back. You talked to the attorney. He said it was a legal vote.
I'm not arguing it, the vote was legal. I'm arguing that the motion wasn't legal.
I'm sorry, I'm not an attorney, but that doesn't make any sense at all.
They could vote on the issue, depending on how the motion was worded. The way the motion is worded is what I had a problem with.
All right, but whatever game they play, you know, it's just going back and forth is absolutely ridiculous. And you
I totally understand.
look in the mirror when you wake up and say, I think I should be ashamed of myself for this. Oh, come on, Doug, you know, you're better than that. We talked,
I understand, we've talked quite a bit.
enjoy your night.
Could I entertain a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make a motion there.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
I'd like to thank the people that came for putting up with me sharing the meeting tonight. Thank you.